What's next for Kid Trunks in the Dragon Ball franchise, or Dragon Ball Super, or whatever's next when they decide to come back in the anime? I assume it's going to be a continuation of Dragon Ball Super because the manga is still called Dragon Ball Super. Kid Trunks has literally been an utter disappointment since really the end of the Boo saga. I thought he had so much potential when he made his when they finally grew up baby Trunks from the Cell saga to seeing Kid Trunks training with his father, assumingly on a daily basis. It made me think, man, this kid's got so much potential. He gets to grow up in a world that isn't absolutely massacred by androids. This kid can be his own character. He doesn't have to be defined by future Trunks, who was a badass until they ruined him in the Dragon Ball Super anime, but that's a different conversation. I would say they kind of ruined his legacy a little bit. You know, they changed his hair, they put a bunch of plot holes, they erased his universe, and then they brought it back, and now he lives in another universe where there's two Trunkses and two Mai's. He's had a girlfriend, Mai, that somehow also got young, like the Mai from the current timeline. It's a whole mess. But Kid Trunks, from the get-go, had the potential in Boo Saga, and I think he was badass in the World Martial Arts Tournament when he went head-to-head with Goten. And as a kid, I was like, I want to see these two in the adult league. They're fighting these kids. But when it turned out to end up being Goten versus Trunks in the finals, it was actually pretty damn fun. And you know, they didn't finish the adult tournament, and I think that was a mistake, or at least to finish round one. But they did finish the kid tournament, and Trunks got to win a World Martial Arts tournament. And I mean, other than Hercule winning the other one, I mean, Trunks was one of the only World Martial Arts winners of all of Dragon Ball Z, and that's pretty cool. I mean, there was no kid division back in the Dizay in original Dragon Ball. And Trunks won, and there was a cool little gimmick where he was like, I'll give you a toy and whatnot. It is not like Trunks needed the money, though. You know, he should have been like, hey, Goten, I'm going to give you the money. My mom's rich. Give it to your mom. She needs it more than I do. He didn't need all that money, is what I'm saying. Bulma should help Chi-Chi out, at least back then. I don't know. Goku was dead. She needed some help. Luckily, her dad is kind of rich, but not as rich as Bulma. So, Kid Trunks beats Goten, and at this point, I'm like, this kid's got all the potential. He's ready to rock. He wants to be involved in the main story. Him and Goten pair up as Mighty Mask. They go head-to-head with Android 18, a badass who kicked his father's... 18 beat the shit out of Vegeta in the Cell Saga, so she ain't no slouch. And she's going head-to-head against two Super Saiyans. And they do pretty damn well, and then eventually they head off. He gets to watch He watches his father die in front of him, making the ultimate sacrifice. Goten and Trunks get a little bit of personal training with Goku, mostly training on how to use the damn fusion technique, which ends up, in my opinion, becoming the ultimate crutch for Kid Trunks. Now, he's intertwined with Goten at this point in the story, because of the Boo Saga and them becoming Gotenks, they became kind of a joke. And they kind of ruined Super Saiyan 3, in my opinion. Super Saiyan 3 was a crazy caveman-looking transformation we've never seen before, and so badass. And then when Gotenks kind of turned it into a gag, and now they just do it and get their ass beat in Super continuously, it's kind of lame. And they kind of ruined it. I wouldn't be surprised if, because of the stigma that comes from them doing it so much and getting their absolute shit rocked all the time by characters like Beerus, characters like Frieza, they don't even get an opportunity to be a part of the Tournament of Power, and they can fuse, and technically they probably, as a fusion, are stronger than Tien and Krillin and Roshi. They weren't chosen because they can't be trusted, because they freaking goof off too much. And another thing that's really holding Kid Trunks back from having anything next for him in the future of this franchise is the fact that they're keeping him and Goten as children, and they aren't growing up. And that's bad. They should be a little bit older. Like, Trunks should be around the age, maybe a little older than this, around the age that future Trunks was before Gohan died. Future Gohan. And he's not. He's not bigger. He actually looks smaller. They actually act more childish than they did in the Buu Saga, even though they've been through some shiz. Goten basically watched his mother die. Trunks watched his father die. I mean, shit went down, and yet they have no trauma from this. Like I was saying, they got to train a little bit with Goku, they got to train a little bit with Piccolo, but really it was all about the fusion. And really, they've been absolutely, utterly, almost non-existent in the Dragon Ball Super anime. They rarely get an opportunity to do anything that isn't a gag. They're never really shown training other than play fighting each other. They get to play around on Android 17's island, which in the manga they tease that they end up doing some fighting with some Cell Juniors. I want to see this. This is where Dragon Ball Super is having some issues with me. Why don't they take some, if they're going to do some filler, or if they're going to do some, if they want to stretch this shit out, why don't they take a block of like 4 or 5 episodes and allow characters like Kid Trunks and Goten to, I don't know, go on an adventure together away from their OP, overpowered fathers and brothers and whatnot. Allow them to go on their own adventure. Who wouldn't want to see a crazy, fun adventure where they're on Android 17's island fighting Cell Juniors? You could set up so much there, to be honest. They could fight Cell Juniors. They could befriend the Cell Juniors, because assumingly they work in tandem with Android 17. If you don't know about this, look it up. Cell Juniors are, in the manga, are technically alive on Android 17's little mystical island of weirdness. And it would have been interesting. I mean, I had a whole theory of, like, what if they use these Cell Juniors to create Cell? There's so much that could happen there. And what if they did something where these Cell Juniors, like, what if Goten and Trunks fused to fight the Cell Juniors because they're OP, or they're strong enough to hold their own with Goten and Trunks? And then what if the Cell Juniors copied Goten and Trunks and fused into a full-grown Cell? Wouldn't that be cool? That'd be insane. Gotenks versus Blue Cell. And it doesn't have to be like the Cell. It could just be like a super powered fused Cell Junior, a Super Cell Junior, and he just looks like Cell bigger. And they just get bigger and taller. That would have been a fun fight. And they wouldn't even have to kill them if they want to keep them a part of the story in some capacity. They could have just beat them, or their time limit for their fusion can run out. I don't know. It could have been a cool way for Goten and Trunks to, quote-unquote, get stronger, I guess you could say. Kind of like their training, you know? They're working with Cell Juniors who are stronger than strong as an ascended Super Saiyan, because they were able to hold their own with Trunks and Vegeta back in the Cell Saga. So only Goten and Trunks fusing could really hold their own with them. It's just power levels, you know? But fighting, 6 or 7 Cell Juniors would be fun, even if it was just 2 Cell Juniors that survived, which would make the most sense. I assume Gohan just didn't kill them all correctly because they just need one little cell to survive. I just think this would have been such a cool way to have a little mini story with Goten and Trunks, like midway through the Tournament of Power. Give us a break from the intensity of the Tournament of Power, which was a good arc, both in the manga and in the anime for different reasons. Give us a reason to like Goten and Trunks again. Let them develop a little bit, even if it's just a gag arc. Give us something for these kids that kind of feels canon, kind of feels like it matters. I know people want to see Cell again. This would be kind of a cool way to do that. Regardless, this isn't about Cell. This isn't about Goten. This is about Kid Trunks. One thing I feel like he needs to do is separate himself from Goten, because unless they plan on making them this tandem fighter down the line when they finally decide to grow these kids up, they need to take Trunks out on his own. He needs to go on his own quest. Like I said, unless they decide to keep these two paired up for life, and they lean in hard, and they master fusion, like they're pretty much the master of the fusion dance, because they're the only damn people that really use it, unless it's a pinch and Vegeta and Goku have to. But they're the only ones that use it continuously, so they should be masters of it. They should be able to fuse in seconds. They should be able to do it without practice. They should be able, to know how much time they have before they split up and how much time they need in between. They should ascend beyond Super Saiyan 3. Maybe they can reach God level ki, but only when they're fused. That's a good idea. And maybe let Kid Trunks or Goten be the lead and hey man, we kind of suck. We didn't get to go to the Tournament of Power because they can't trust us. This is effed up. We're Super Saiyans. We were born with this kind of strength without having to do much training at all. I think they need to go on their own little vision quest away from their fathers. I think it would be interesting if Kid Trunks found a mentor like Tien or Yamcha. Wouldn't it be hilarious if he learned some shit from Yamcha, of all people? Just like some martial arts skills Yamcha learned some shit from the Turtle Hermit, from Kami, from Korin. He could teach them some stuff. What if Trunks starts using the Spirit Bowl or the Wolf Fang Fist? Could you imagine Kid Trunks using Yamcha moves? Oh my god, that would be hilarious and fun. What if Kid Trunks becomes a disciple of Yamcha and he makes the Wolf Fang Fist into something absolutely intensely fun? Or what if he goes and trains with the Turtle Hermit? I already said this before, but I think it would be interesting if they go old school and have a little mini arc where Goten and Trunks go on to the Turtle Hermit and ask to be trained like Goku and Krillin did, and they could have this little montage of them doing all the same training but more intense, because these kids are way stronger than Krillin and Goten were or Goku were at the time. I don't know. I don't think I want to see Kid Trunks train with Piccolo, because I feel like that's more of a Gohan thing. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. They don't really have much of a connection. It would have been really cool if they actually let Kid Trunks be a part of the future Trunks arc or saga, the Goku Black arc. Go to the future and I don't know, see some shit, see the shit that his future self grew up in. That would have been the perfect time for Kid Trunks to learn to cut the shit and learn that there's a future version of him that went through way more shit. They didn't get to grow up in this cushy lifestyle. And maybe see Vegeta kind of being a better. It kind of feels like Vegeta loves his future son a little more, just because he's been through some shiz, just like he has. He can bond over that. He knows that he's a fighter. He's a survivor, just like Vegeta is. It would have been interesting to see Kid Trunks and future Trunks fight together or train together? What if they had like a mini little training session together? That would have been sweet. What if they let, just like in the Tapion movie, Wrath of the Dragon or what have you, what if he gives him a sword? Give Kid Trunks a sword. Make him be the sword guy. It was so badass when Trunks used to be like, I know he still carries a sword and all that, but it used to be part of his identity when he just slashed up Frieza. What if they gives Kid Trunks a sword? What if they bond, almost like a brotherly bond, like Goten and Gohan? I don't know. There's so much potential here, people, and I feel like they've dropped the ball continuously with Kid Trunks, and I'm sick of it. Are you sick of the fact that they are absolutely wasting a character that is basically one of the future children of this franchise? When they finally decide to jump ahead with Oob and Pan and Marin and Goten and Trunks, I believe there's one more kid. Oh, and Android 17's kids possibly. They're going to need characters like Trunks who've been around since Z, and they're going to need them to be people that the new main characters, Pan and Oob, are going to rely on. Trunks can be the Piccolo of the group. Trunks can be the main character of the group. Who knows? There's so much potential for the future when they decide to finally move on from Goku and Vegeta, if it ever happens. And I feel like they're not setting themselves up for that. At the very least, like I said earlier in the video, give Trunks and Goten their own identity. Give them their own passion. Give them their own wants and needs and, future. What do they want? What do they want to be? Do they want to be martial artists? Do they want to be scholars? Do they want to go train? Do they give a shit about ascending beyond Super Saiyan? Do they give a shit about impressing their fathers? Do they not? Do they want to go back and do some tournaments? There's so much they could do with these side characters, and Kid Trunks actually has potential to become something great. A lot of the great characters like Tien and Krillin and Roshi are reaching an age where they might be considered too old to even be considered to get character development. And they have gotten very little, to be honest. And Kid Trunks has gotten less than that. And it's insane to think that they don't care about anybody else but Vegeta and Goku and whoever the villain of the week is. In Frieza. That's about it. I don't know. Please comment down below. What do you think they should do with Kid Trunks' character going forward? Please let me know. What do you think about Cell Jr.'s being alive and whatnot? Could they do something with that? I'm Mr. Morfetto. Please subscribe. Tell your friends. I'll talk to you later.